Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have a very special treat for you. We have the Samson 9005 juicer. So the 9005 juicer is the same as the 9003, 9004, 9005, and 9006. The only difference between those models is basically the color. And the difference between those models and the 9001 model, well, you got to check my other video for that, but basically it's the auger is different and the warranty is different. Pretty much otherwise they're pretty much identical machines. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to make Brazil nut butter with raw Brazil nuts, and we're going to make banana ice cream, or more appropriately called 100% banana sorbet. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some nut butters, or attempt to make some nut butters with some Brazil nuts. So these are raw Brazil nuts, and you know, a lot of times, although the manufacturers advertise the machines as making nut butters, what they're usually referring to is peanut butter. So if you take roasted peanuts and put it through most juicers actually that have the capability to do nut butters, you will make a real true nut butter. It will work, and that's the reason why is that when you roast a nut, it brings out the oils in the nut, so it's a higher oil content. The problem arises that with many raw nuts, the oil content isn't high enough, so there's nothing to really get the butter to stick together. So in many cases, you will make a nut flour. So before we start to make or attempt to make the Brazil nut butter, and Brazil nuts do have a higher percentage of fat content than other nuts, so some nuts are better than others. Almonds are probably the absolute worst nut to use to try to make nut butters when it's raw, because it just absolutely won't work. We're going to take apart the machine. So we're going to take apart the machine and we're going to show you the different parts and how it is assembled and disassembled. So first we're going to do the disassembly. The easiest part was the pusher here. We use the pusher to push the produce, or the nuts in this case, into the machine. Easily comes out. Next we have the funnel, and this funnel is really going to assist us in feeding the nuts into the machine. It's going to help out a lot. Next we have the drum cap. The drum cap just screws off, and this is it right here. Then we have the blank plate, or the mincing cone is what they call it actually in the instruction manual, and this is actually just a solid blank. The juicing screen usually would have the holes in the bottom to allow you to make the juice. We don't want that. We don't want everything mushed up into one thing, and that's what this piece does. Then we have the auger. So this auger and the juicing or the mincing cone is actually made out of the GE Ultra material. It's 8 times harder than the previous auger, and this auger has a nice stainless steel insert right where most of the grinding goes on. And finally we have the main body. So there's a little collar here that you turn to loosen and tighten the main body on the juicer. So this is the main body, so we're going to loosen it, and then we're going to turn it to lock it into place. That's the first step of assembly. The next step is to literally put the auger in there, locks into place. Then we're going to take the mincing cone or blank plate, put that in there, and then we're going to take the drum cap, put that on, and turn it. It's locked into place, and put the funnel on. So now we are ready to make our nut butters. Let's turn the machine on. Runs at a low 80 RPMs. It's really nice because it's not that loud. You know, kids could be sleeping upstairs, your roommates could be still sleeping, and you're not going to wake them up with this machine. A lot of juicers can't get really loud. So it's really just going to take the nuts here and pour them in. See what happens. Alright, so they're being really self-fed in the machine, and look what we're getting on this side. It's pretty interesting. So that's about a ½ pound of nuts there. Okay, so the first couple pieces that came out were a little bit loose, but now, you know, look, it's sticking together fairly well. We're not even using the pusher to feed the nuts in. They're literally just almost self-feeding. Let's go ahead and help it out a little bit and see if we push them in, if it's going to work a little bit better or not. Alright, yeah, look how fast it's coming out now. It's just really stuck together. Alright, that's all the Brazil nuts. So that's, you know, about a ½ pound of Brazil nuts. And we're going to check the consistency of that. It's just finishing coming out. So let's see, this is a nice solid, almost like log here. It's a little bit flaky. Pretty good. Let's take our tamper and tamp this together and see what we got. See if it kind of sticks together like a nut butter or what it's doing. Alright, so there it is. I got it all packed in the bottom of the bowl, and let's check it out. Alright, if it's a nut butter, it won't fall on my head. It's stuck. Alright, so I think it's pretty much a nut butter. It's stuck in there. Then let's pull it out. And it's pretty stuck together fairly well. You know, it's definitely not like the nut butters you buy in the store. It's a little bit more crumbly. You can kind of see it crumbling. So if you really want a true nut butter consistency and it to be like a nut butter from the store, what you're going to have to do is add some like oil to it. So I'd add some, in this case I'd add raw Brazil nut oil if you could find that, or even like a raw coconut oil, and just mix it together, and then that will give you more of a buttery consistency. So this juicer pretty much will make nut butters like every other juicer will. Kind of works alright. You know, it's kind of a stretch to me to be calling that a nut butter, but this is pretty much what every other juicer is going to do, so it's nothing special here. I got a real good treat for you. Up next, we're going to make some banana ice cream. Alright, so now we're going to make banana ice cream in the Samson juicer. So first, let me get the bananas out of the freezer. So these are the bananas. They're frozen, and what I recommend if you do want to do this, you want to get the ripe bananas at the store. Usually they come in the little bags, and they're usually half off or more. And what you're going to do is peel them and then put them in a Ziploc bag, and then seal the Ziploc bag, put it in your freezer, and then you're going to have what we have here. We have frozen bananas, and sometimes they'll stick together, but that's all right. You're just going to break them apart, and then you're just going to take the whole banana and turn the machine on, put it through the machine, and look what we get out the other side. This is like a frozen yogurt consistency, you know, like you get at the fast food restaurant. It's so delicious, and you know what? This is 100% frozen bananas. No additives, no artificial flavors, no sugar, no nothing. 100% bananas. Look how good that looks. I can't wait to eat it. And you know, if you want to doll it up, you could put some chopped nuts on the top. You could even add some, you know, frozen blueberries, frozen strawberries. I've even done frozen cantaloupe and other things in this machine as well. So that's how easy it is to make frozen banana sorbet, and it's 100% natural. Mmm. That's so good. So eating 100% banana sorbet allows you to basically eat more fruits in your diet, or just 100% bananas. So bananas are naturally sweet. You don't need to add any extra sugar. You know, so this way you could eat banana sorbet instead of that ice cream, instead of that, you know, vegan cream, instead of whatever you would normally eat. This is just, you know, as we know, fruit is, we all want to be eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, and the Samson juicer allows you to do that, whether it's frozen fruit or fresh made juices or fresh vegetable juice. The Samson is it. Alright, so this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.